Here we go again. Joe Biden, as a presidential candidate, continues to needlessly try to go to the right of Donald Trump when it comes to foreign policy. We heard, oh, I'll be tougher on Russia, right? Which is kind of standard Democratic speak because of the Trump investigation. And then also, though, in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, oh, I'll be tougher on China. And this is very dangerous rhetoric because that means both parties' leaders are far right and interventionist and hawkish when it comes to foreign policy. Now Joe Biden is doing it again when it comes to Venezuela, and that potentially has more tangible consequences because neither president is going to act significantly on China or Russia, as they are massive nations, and that would cause immense conflict. I shouldn't hold, I guess I'll cross my fingers, but I don't think that's as likely to happen as hawkish actions when it comes to Venezuela. So some background on this. According to an Axios report, Trump is having second thoughts about recognizing Guaido as the legitimate leader in Venezuela, perhaps because he's not the legitimate leader in Venezuela. He was not elected to be president. Unlike Maduro, you can question the election integrity in Venezuela, but Maduro is certainly more of the president of the nation than Guaido is. You don't need to like him, but that's just the reality. So, yeah, I mean, you don't just get to call the opposition leader president just because you like him more. Yep, I think Nancy Pelosi's president. She's president. She's president. I've just decided that Ocasio-Cortez is president of the United States. Yep. Sorry. That's basically what they're doing. Anyway, I digress. And then, this is from the Axios report, asked whether he would meet with Maduro. Trump said, I would maybe think about that. Maduro would like to meet, and I'm never opposed to meetings. Rarely opposed to meetings. God forbid. That's a great position by Trump, by the way. A former Trump administration official told Axios, Trump's comments to Axios tracked with their firsthand experience of the first 2.5 years of his presidency when Venezuela policy was a hotter issue than it is now. The former official said it was a recurring concern inside the administration during 2017 and 2018 that Trump would meet with Maduro. It was really stop and go there for a while, he said, and the Venezuelan opposition was beside themselves. Yeah, Trump should meet with leaders of nations. He's the president of the United States. Washington foreign policy discourse is so hawkish and broken that that's seen as a legitimate position, that it's dangerous and worrisome that Trump would consider meeting with Nicolas Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela. But when the United States is trying to, institute a coup, a soft coup in Venezuela, where they just recognize the opposition party's leader and are sanctioning the Venezuelan people to death so that they turn on Maduro, well, that's the more convenient position for them to have. So back to Biden, though, because I think this is what's frustrating to me about this. He tweets, Trump talks tough on Venezuela but admires thugs and dictators like Nicolas Maduro. Trump does not admire Maduro. He's been up Guaido's butt for this entire time, and now he's turning on him because he thinks Guaido is weak. He kind of is. He's just the de facto leader of the more further right party in Venezuela. So the right-wing hawks and neoliberals like Joe Biden are pro-Guaido. He continues, as president, I will stand with the Venezuelan people and for democracy. Not recognizing Maduro is the opposite of democracy. Again, Maduro is more democratically elected by 100 times than Guaido, who was not elected. You can call into, you can talk about the legitimacy of the Venezuelan elections. I understand that. That's a debate that can be had. But Guaido is not president. He's not. So you can't just call him president. It's like calling, I talked about how I've decided AOC's president or whatever. It's kind of like calling Hillary Clinton president. She won more votes. But that's not how the system works. The Electoral College elected Trump. So fine, we can have a conversation about what happened, but Hillary Clinton is not president. It's just so insane that I think a toy Barbie or a G.I. Joe, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of human-like toys and objects, could defeat Trump in the fall. He is looking like he's about to fall down a polling hole that he can't get out of, and we missed an enormous opportunity, because if Bernie Sanders were the nominee, if almost any of the Democratic candidates were the nominee, they would have defeated Trump. I mean, Biden is the luckiest guy in history as of the way the polling stands right now. But instead, because of the perception of electability, the Democratic voters went with a guy who is to the right on foreign policy issues. We saw this in his Iraq war votes and all of his past votes for intervention throughout his tenure, and to the right on pretty much every other position. He's basically a center-right politician running as the Democratic nominee. And this is what we get. Needless needling of the lefty base tweeting this. Like, you're not going to pick up any new votes by being tough on Maduro. I mean, who cares? It's almost as if he's specifically trying to, show the left that he means boss, and I don't like it at all.